Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at setting up an Arma Reforger dedicated server. It only came out a few days ago, so on the 17th, it's now the 19th. I've seen lots of people trying to set up dedicated servers and having a lot of trouble, so I thought I'd take the time, make a short video on how to set it up. This is going to assume a few basic things. You have the access to a dedicated server, preferably hosted in a data center with a much faster internet connection than you have at home. You're going to need that. You already understand and know about Steam CMD, so I don't need to cover that. And that you have a knowledge of port forwarding. I'm certainly not going to be covering that because almost everybody has a different router and the way to do it is different, so I'm not going to be covering that. So I'm going to start by logging onto my dedicated server. I am not going to be downloading the game because I've already got it downloaded, and that's done through Steam CMD. So I can show you that. Go to this PC on my D drive, and I got my game downloads here. So here's the Arma Reforger server folder, which I downloaded the game to. And there it is there, the exe. That's the exe we're looking for. To get the server running, you need to run that particular executable file, but you need to pass it some parameters. So what I'm going to show you to do is how to set up those parameters. What I do is set up a profiles folder. In here, we're going to create a new text document, and we're going to call that demo.json. Helps if I take off .txt, and we're going to get that, so we can say yes, we do want to change it. And there, so we need to open that file up next. Where's my Notepad++? There it is. So in here, we're going to paste our template file, and this is what we're going to be editing. So we've got a few sections here. You'll see these template files all over the internet. They do look very different, so I've kind of trimmed this one down to the bits that we need to see, the bits we don't want, I've taken them out. So we've got a couple of important parts. This particular here, dedicated server, most places you'll see this pre-filled. I would recommend taking it out, leaving that blank, just like that. When you run your server successfully for the first time, it will generate an ID, so you don't need to put anything in there beforehand. Region, set that if you want. By default, it's just set as EU. I've set mine to GB because the server is hosted in the United Kingdom. These gameHostBindPort address is empty, but in this template I have put internal, and these are the port numbers for the game. By default, they're both 2001. You've got gameHostRegisterBindAddress public. So this is where most people have had troubles trying to set up their server. It's getting these addresses wrong, just completely wrong. So what I found is that gameHostBindAddress needs to be the computer's internal IP address or your private address. This is the address that your dedicated server has on its own network, so on the LAN that it's connected to. You can easily find this out by opening a command prompt window, pressing enter, typing ipconfig, and then pressing enter. So again, this is an actual server, so it's got lots of network adapters in it. But the one that's connected, which is here. So in this case, I'm going to be typing in this address. Most people will see the address there starting in 192.168. That's mine. This address is unique to this computer on the network. By trying something with that address on the internet, you won't find it. It's a private address. So that's what we're going to put in, which is 10.190.10.200. That's this server's IP address on its network. Public address, I'm going to blur this out. Game admin password. So we're going to want to change this. This is the password that once you're connected to the game, you use to get the admin rights on your server. So let's just set that to test. ScenarioId. So this is the mission that you're going to be loading. Currently, mission rotating is not enabled for dedicated servers, so a list of these is available on the wiki. I will link to it. Another place where I've seen a lot of people falling over was by taking this section out. That's required. They all have that like ID type at the beginning of the name of the mission, but that's definitely required. Player count limit. I set that to 69 because it's funny, but in the server browser it tends to cap out at about 64. Set that depending on the specs of your server or the maximum number of people that you're expecting to join your server. Password. Leave this blank if you want your server to be public. Anybody can drop in and join and play. Set that to something. If you want your server to be private and you've got to put a password when you want to join. So let's just call that test. I have skipped a bit, which is the name here. This is the name of the server. So when you're browsing the server browser, this is what you're going to see in the browser. So we're going to call that, I can't reach my keyboard, slugs video tutorial server. I really can't spell. Tutorial server. There we go. Okay. As well, by default, if you find another template, anyway, I'll put my template in the description. You will see platform, Xbox, some other bits and pieces. There will be mods pre-filled out, but not in this template, which I'll put in the description. So once you're happy that that's all filled out, we can hit Control S and save that. Save it there. Great. And this is where it gets really easy now. So again, I'm not doing this in like some super advanced way, creating custom batch files and things. I'm going to be doing it quite crudely. So what you can do is go back to your folder that Arma Reforger is installed to. Hold down Shift, right click, open PowerShell window here. You can batch file this, but I'm not going to, just because I don't. So what we want to do here is, if we type ls, which shows us all the files in that folder, we can see that Arma Reforger Server is in that folder, so we know we're in the right one. So we start typing that, press tab to autocomplete. We want to pass a config to it, which is, in our case, we saved it in Arma Reforger. I've forgotten where I saved it. No, it's up there. Profiles, demo.json. And we need to pass it a profile. This is where it kind of uses, this is what I assume, that this is where it creates like a virtual directory for working and things. So if it doesn't exist, you can literally type in anything you want and it creates the profile. So I'm going to call it dedicated server demo. Press enter. We're going to wait. Let's just move this up a little bit. We'll see all these things ticking through. Dun, dun, dun. We'll wait just a moment. There are 3 files that it does always get stuck on. Here they are. Failed to open, stuck on the last one. So here we have, as long as we got this showing the RPL listen address requested, the internal IP address and port number, and game successfully created, we should now be able to join the server. So if I load up Arma Reforger on the other screen, just loading up Arma Reforger now. New game, early access, space to continue. Then go to multiplayer, and we are going to search for our server name, which was Slug. So there's my server. I'm going to join that. It's popped up with the password. We put the password in as test, and we're going to join. Wait for the loading screen. It loads a lot faster than Arma 3 did. Even to spin the server up much quicker. So making changes doesn't take 10 minutes to reload the entire thing. There we go. Conflict. We join faction. We're going to be the Americans. Continue. Here we go. Here we go. We're in. We are on our server. Just wait for everything to load in, and it'll become a lot more responsive. So we've got rejected. We'll start seeing NPCs spawn in just a moment. So I think by default they're kind of stood in the tent. Let's go over and have a look. There they are. There they are. Terrible shot, but there we go. I've just been told off for killing friendlies. Messages coming up. At this point now, friends can join, and you're good to go. So if we go back over to the server, because I started it through PowerShell, not with a batch file, the log stays open. You can actually monitor everything that's going on. See, we've got the autosave running there. You can see I joined the server, one player is connected. And to stop the server, it's as simple as just pressing Ctrl and C in there, and the server is down. So if you need to make any changes, you can quickly just make some changes to start it up again, or make some changes to your JSON file. Actually, this is the part where I said that your dedicated server ID will populate after the first time it runs successfully. There it is. We've loaded it again now, and there's our unique ID for our server. So you can make any changes you want there, and because we're running it within a PowerShell window, what's nice and easy is to start it back up. Just press the up arrow, and the last command you typed in is back there. I hope you found that useful.